This is Sport Talk
with your host, Zach Mason.
Hello, today is Friday, July 10th, 2020. You are listening to the Sport Talk with Zach Mason. My name is Zach Mason, and today we got a couple of interviews for you guys. We got Crestview High School bass fishing coach, Ernie Martin. That's going to be up first. And then we got, later at the end of the episode, we got Crestview Bulldogs football coach, Tim Hatton. And then in between, we're going to go over the schedules just in case we do end up having a season. I do have the schedules pulled up for you guys, just so I'll go over who they play, what week, who's home, who's away, and all that kind of stuff for Baker and Crestview. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get Ernie Martin's interview set up, and here we go. And I see that you have some sponsors on here. Do you have like any sort of fundraisers that the kids can help out and try to advertise the team and just try to get some more money in so you can make these long trips?
Once we get the blessing from the state and from Department of Health and the school district saying we can get back into the swing of fundraising and doing those things and have our gatherings and meetings, then yes, we'll be doing a lot of things. The shirt I'm wearing today is a shirt that I was able to build for my own semi-professional fishing career that we're in. A lot of these sponsors on this shirt sponsor me and my partners when we fish tournaments in the adult level, but they were also very gracious and willing to help sponsor the high school kids and their events. And yes, we'll be rolling with a lot of fundraising because each student that fishes with us has to be able to raise enough money to cover the expenses. And it's not just a regular expense trip like you would if you went to a baseball game or a football game. It's a little bit more in-depth and in detailed about the way you have to spend your money and what you have to spend it on. So it takes a good job of fundraising to be able to go and afford these trips.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I like about how whenever I heard about you were doing your bass fishing team is sports is always based off of like, not based off of, but it's always stereotyped off of like jocks and just big buff dudes and athletic, but it's more what you're bringing up is just something that everybody is in love with. Not everybody loves football, not everybody loves basketball, so on and so forth, but it's something that everybody grew up off of, and especially around here in North Okaloosa County. So I think that what you have going on is such a great thing.
Well, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want you to go on why you got started, what inspired you to have your own semi-pro bass fishing team, and what led you to bring back to your own community in Crestview High School.
Well, you know, growing and being raised in Crestview, growing up here, having parents that were locals and love the outdoors, take us camping and fishing, and being able to be outside and having that time with my father and my brother-in-law and, you know, uncles and father-in-law as far as that goes once I got married. They really instilled a love for the outdoors and especially for fishing, and it just kind of grew from there. I didn't start out at an early age tournament fishing, and my football career might have been a little bit shorter if that had competitive bass fishing at the high school level when I was there. I might have been trying to do 3 sports instead of 2. But I started competitive fishing probably back in 2004 and started at the local club level, and I caught the bug early. Went with a great fisherman, a local here named Joe Martin. He's a retired teacher and took me to my first club tournament, and he showed me what lure to get. He knew where we was going to go, and my very first tournament I finished in 2nd place, and the guy that beat me was the guy in the boat with me, Joe. So he took first, I took 2nd, and it just kind of blossomed from there, and started doing all the research. You know, you can get on all the social media pages and start looking up people. I had a awesome opportunity to fish with one of Florida's legends. He's a professional fisherman. He's been at it for a long time. Shaw Grigsby Jr., I've been able to fish with him on several occasions, from saltwater fishing to bass fishing, and in the trips I've been with him, I've learned a lot about sponsorships, a lot about how to fish, and a lot about how, if you want to see how it's supposed to be done right at the professional level, he's the consummate professional. He is an excellent man. He does a super job with his sponsors. He does a super job in the tournaments, and he's still doing it, and he's 64 years old. I just talked to him the other day, and he was on his way back from the big tournament in Tennessee, and he didn't do as well as he wanted, but he still made a check. And if you're making checks at his age fishing, then it's worth it. But that kind of got me started, and looking at sponsors, going to the BASS Classics and listening to those guys and watching, and starting out, like they said, at the club levels and working your way up. I've gotten to the opportunity now, like I said, that I have attained several sponsors, and it's helped me get prepared for the dream of starting a high school team. Again, like you said, not everybody can throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Not everybody can shoot that three-point shot. Not everybody can, be 6'4", 240 and run like a deer, and make tackles or score touchdowns. But if you have a passion and a rod and reel, you can fish, and you can be on this team. As long as you can keep your grades up, stay out of trouble, then you can go and be a part of the Crestview High Bass team. And I think that was a big draw, is the kids I have on there have a passion. We started out our very first tournament. We took 11 young men from Crestview High School, and they represented this town, our school, and our staff very well. They handled themselves as professionally as they could be, and I was very proud moment to see those kids blast off into the rising sun down at Palatka on the St. Johns River on that frosty morning. And it took me a minute. I had to compose myself before I got in the boat and took my crew out. But it was a dream come true to get it started. And I've been blessed with to live in a community that has a passion that echoes my passion.
Absolutely. And the one thing I love about what you have going on is you don't have to be 24, 25, 26 like these pros are nowadays. You can be any age and still fish in tournaments. Like my brother, he goes and fishes almost all the time. So does my dad. And my brother's competed in a couple tournaments, not high school wise, but just to go see if he can make some money. And he has a lot of fun, whether if he makes money or not. So I think that's one of the great things about what you got going on here. So I think that's all the time we got for today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to Ernie Martin and what he has going on. And Ernie, if you have anything to say, you just want to get your name out there, get your team out there, just to advertise a little bit, see if you can get any more sponsors or anything like that.
Well, again, through Crestview High School, the bass team, if you want to contact me, you can go to the Crestview High School website, go to the faculty page. You'll see my email address. Just drop me an email. Hopefully, we will get the blessing to get back started here shortly. Our first tournament is not till October, so we're okay right now. I haven't hit the panic button yet, but I appreciate all this community's done for Crestview High School and supporting us, and Dexter Day, our principal, and Tim Hatton, our athletic director. They've been in full support, and Mr. Marcus Chambers and Mr. Steve Horton, they were behind this from the get-go, and I appreciate them being a part of it. But again, without the community, without the support, these kids don't have a chance to do something that could be life-changing. And I say that because there are 22 and 24-year-olds out there. Just watched one 2 weeks ago win a tournament in Kissimmee, and this young man named Jordan Lee, after fishing 4 days, won over $200,000 bass fishing. That kind of says a lot for the event and the sport in and of itself. And who knows, there may be one of those kids walking the halls of Crestview High School this fall, and if he is, I need to find him.
Absolutely. I want to thank you guys for watching that interview. We got a few quick sponsors. We're live from the Hub City Smokehouse in historic downtown Crestview, sponsored by Hub City Smokehouse, Dixie Dan Powell Injury and Law, Lee Buick GMC, Powell and Powell Law Firm, and Briar Patch Realty. Thank you again to those sponsors. And now we're going to go over to our Hatton interview. We got a couple minutes with Coach Hatton the other day, and we're just going to go over to that real quick. And then after that, I'm going to go over the schedules with you guys for this upcoming season.
Coach Hatton, 2020 season, maybe not. We don't really know what it is. What can you tell us as far as you know, if we're going to have a season, if we're not, what kind of ideas are being thrown around out there?
Well, I think we're going to have a season. We don't know in what capacity that we're going to have a season. Right now, we're under some strict guidelines about how many people we can keep in a group, how many people can exchange a ball in a group. So there's some logistic issues that we're going through in order to prepare in the summertime, and you know, there's changes occur daily. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what the format's going to be in the fall. By all the information that's been relayed to us, we feel like we're going to play. We just don't know at what capacity. You know, are we going to have fans? Are we not going to have fans? And what format are those fans going to be in? Just a lot of questions that to be answered before you can put 60 people on one side, 60 people on the other sideline, and play, you know, close contact football in these times. You know, hopefully our information will become more clear in the next couple of weeks, and we can have some concrete answers to make plans not only for the fans but for the players and the coaches and you know, just preparing to put together practice more than anything else. You know, we're starving for information just like anybody else. We want to know when can we start. You know, at what format do we work at, and those are some things that we don't know. And you can't even make a practice plan until you know what the guidelines are going to be for practice. So, you know, we're kind of stomping our feet a little bit, trying to figure out what's going on, and hopefully we'll know something in the next couple of weeks.
You're able to bring some and a very limited number of kids in at one time, and it was like a 6 to 10 or something like that. You know, to work out in the weight room and on the field. Are you able to do that? And how's that kind of affecting what you normally do? I mean, how's that affecting the coaches trying to get only 10 kids at a time?
Well, it's very difficult time-wise when you've got 130 kids in your program, and you do the math. Only 10 people can be in the weight room at a time, and it takes an hour to work out minimum. I mean, logistically, it's been kind of a nightmare, but you know, it is what it is, and we're trying to make the best of it and hope we move forward. I know the numbers that have been put out lately doesn't look like we're moving forward a whole lot, and that kind of concerns us. We're probably moving a little bit in the wrong direction. So we're a little concerned as coaches and players and as an organization as to what direction we're going and what direction our guidelines are going to go, because you know, safety is first and foremost. We're going to do whatever it takes to be safe, and if the CDC or the county comes out with regulations, then we're going to abide by those regulations as we're told, and I would hope that everybody's doing that. But we certainly are at Crestview High School, and we're going to make the best of it.
We want to thank you again, Coach Hatton, for that amazing interview and just giving us a little briefing on what their day-by-day is, playing it by ear, and just it's very rough times, especially for those who are just trying to give us entertainment, trying to get to where they want to go football-wise, and it's just very difficult for them, obviously, because they don't know whenever they wake up that next morning if they're going to be able to practice or not. They're just showing up, doing what they have to do, and at the end of the day, getting the job done. So, with all that being said, we're gonna go over the schedule, and we're gonna go over Baker's and Crestview's. First, we're gonna go over Crestview's. For the first opening week 1, we got Escambia High School at home on August the 28th. So if you need to like pause this or anything, write this down. Just stay with me. I'm gonna try and go slow for people, just so people know what days and if it's going to be home or away, who's going to be playing and all that kind of stuff. So week 1 we got Escambia on August 28th. That's going to be home. Week 2 is going to be Champagnat Catholic. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you'll see it on the schedule. That's going to be on September the 4th at home. And week 3 is going to be the big Niceville game on 9/11, Veterans Day, away. And week 4 is going to be Tate at home on September the 18th. Week 5 is going to be Chiles, I don't know how to say it, on September 25th.
It's
Chiles. On September 25th, that's going to be away. And then they're going to have that next week on October the 2nd. That's going to be Leon. That's going to be at home. And then they're going to be off. The game after Leon, they're going to be off. So that'll be 10-9. That'll be their bye week. And then they're going to go back into 10-16, October 16th, sorry. They're going to be playing Lincoln. That's going to be away. And then the next week is going to be a big Navarre game. Over the last couple of years, they've been kind of rivaling with Navarre, especially my senior year. I remember that Crestview had a big rival with Navarre, especially in the playoffs. And then closing week going into playoffs, they'll be playing back-to-back state championship for 1A, Madison County at home. So that'll be a very interesting game. We'll see where Madison County is after coming off a big state championship victory coming into this next season. We'll see where they stand, and then we'll see where Crestview is coming to the closing of the season. All right. Speaking of 1A football, we're going to go on to Baker's schedule. Week 1, they're going to have Rocky Bayou on August the 21st at home. Going into that, I have those two mixed up. I'm sorry. On August the 4th, they're going to be playing Rocky Bayou at home. And the next week, they're going to be playing South Walton on the 21st. I'm pretty sure if I have that right. On the 21st, that's going to be away. 9/11, they're going to be playing Northview at home. That next week, Cottondale on September the 18th. That's going to be at home. And then their big rival week is going to be away at Jay on September the 25th. Freeport, they're going to be playing them first week of October. October the 2nd, that's going to be at home. And then that next week, they're going to be playing at home against Lighthouse. And then as of last year, they started a conference, which is the Sunshine Athletic Conference, I'm pretty sure is what it's called. Those are to be determined. And that's going to be on the weeks of October 16th, October 23rd, and October 30th. So for the first 2 weeks of October, it's going to be 2 home games to close out the season. And then for the rest of October, heading into the playoffs, it's going to be their conference championship and the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. So those are the schedules. I want to thank you guys for listening today. Thank you guys for tuning in to viewing. I know we had a few viewers, a few friendly faces that I know, apparently. And make sure to tune in next week as we're going to try and get Baker. We're going to try and get Coach Matt Brunson and interview with him and a couple players, try to get some practice film in. And I want to thank you guys for listening and watching today. And today has been Friday, July 10th, 2020. Thanks, guys.
This is Sport Talk
with your host, Zach Mason.